Did you know that Spotify has a popularity score for every artist? It quantifies their popularity from 0 to 100, which to me is ironic because Spotify manufactures popularity with its algorithmic and editorial playlists. From my perspective, Spotify has been chronically underrating some of the most talented artists and producers, which is why I decided to make this series. This is Slept On by Spotify. A little over a year ago, I was curious to see whether or not I could add a chronological feed with reposts and comments to Spotify. I was poring over some of their documentation when I found out that if you fetch an artist, you get to see what their popularity score is. And you might be wondering, what is this popularity score? If you open up Spotify, you can see that when you go to an artist, they have a list of popular songs. Each track has its own popularity based on how many plays it has and how recent those plays are. From what I understand, the average track popularity on your profile ends up being your artist's popularity. Obviously, as somebody who's produced music before, I figured, why not look myself up? So it's actually super easy to get any artist's popularity score. All you need to do is go to Spotify, pick an artist, copy the Spotify URI, and then you go over to Chrome and you'll Google Spotify API or Spotify reference, something like that. You want to hit the reference here, get an artist, try in our web console, and it might try and make you log in, but you can just paste the URI in here, delete those prefixes, hit try it, and let's see what Bear Cave's score is. 12. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Not bad. So to give you some context, let's look up some more famous artists. So obviously, someone like Billie Eilish has like billions of plays. Let's plug in her ID and see what we come up with. So out of 100, Billie Eilish is a 93, which makes sense because she releases music much more frequently than I do and is also a pop star. So how about somebody a little more obscure, someone like A.G. Cook, who's a little more underground? A.G. Cook is at a 51. So now you can kind of get a sense for what like an unknown artist such as me or a super famous artist such as Billie Eilish and somebody in between like A.G. Cook, what our scores are like in Spotify's metadata. So as I alluded to in the introduction, Spotify is in control of who becomes popular in a big way. So many people discover music through their playlists that allows them to suppress some really incredible talent. Or at the very least, they get to select who becomes popular on their platform. Eventually I thought, fuck it. I'll feature some of these amazing artists in a web series, learn a little bit about them, their process, and give them some cash to do what they do. So here are the basic ground rules. For you to be slept on by Spotify, you must have a popularity score below 50. In addition, if you have 100,000 or more monthly listeners, you are also no longer slept on. Obviously, the vast majority of artists on Spotify are slept on by these criteria, but my goal is to handpick ones that I feel like really deserve a little more recognition for what they do. For the very first episode, I am so happy to be featuring my good friend, Arthur and Medic. Arthur is one of those producers that doesn't really have any limitation. They can just conjure music onto the page or the DAW, and it almost seems effortless. Arthur's ability to create captivating electronic music astounds me because they'll span so many different tempos and genres. Arthur will make math rock, house, rhythm, dubstep, drum and bass. My favorite EP probably of all time is Arthur's Not Quite Unrequited. I was shocked at how much Arthur was able to get done in just the span of a few hours. So without further ado, let's check it out. Arthur, I gotta be honest, I am extremely excited to start this web series and start it off with you specifically because I don't know if you know this, I'm your self-proclaimed '1 fan.
You have told me.
I mean, the first question I have for you is why FL?
Back in like 2009, my friend at the time, he was all in on Apple products. He had an iPhone, he had a MacBook, and of course my dad is a civil engineer, so our family was Windows products. And basically where I'm going with this is he had GarageBand and made some terrible shit, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then I was like, I can do that better. So I frantically Googled like GarageBand Windows, and after several missed shots at like Microsoft Songsmith or some shit, I found FL Studio, and they have a demo version which doesn't let you save project files and reopen them, so you have to leave them open, which is what Soulja Boy did when he made his hit song.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's just iconic.
Just iconic.
It's
Did
like
not pay a cent for that beat.
It's like old video game consoles when you just like couldn't really save.
Yeah,
you would just leave them on forever. But I don't trust computers as much as I trust old consoles. You know what I mean? Like I can trust an NES to stay on forever. I can't really trust a computer to not try and update and shut down.
I can't even trust my new PC to stay off. It'll just like turn on in the middle of the night. Like, hey, I need to update. I'm going to do that.
Do you actually use a MIDI keyboard when you're recording at all, or do you just kind of like plunk everything in?
Until recently, I haven't had any sort of MIDI controllers that would take like piano inputs. I do have one now. We might bust that out later, but no, everything to date that I've written has been drawn in by hand, including fucking jazz solos.
Do you usually end up producing music with those earbuds?
Oh yeah, I bought these a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, in a Harris Teeter, as I was checking out buying groceries. They're just like some Skullcandy earbuds.
That upsets me.
I know.
That truly upsets me. I mean, do you like start to finish in those headphones most of the time, or do you like reference in your car later? And
I used to, and then my car stereo system broke, so I can't do that anymore. So yeah, start to finish in the earbuds. It would be nice to have monitors or like be able to check on other speakers. I do phone tests, like just unplug it, play it on my phone.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it kind of just goes to show if you understand the hardware and like where people listen, then you can end up translating things. You just listen to reference tracks and be like, okay, this is how it sounds on the Skullcandies. I can emulate.
I'm very used to these consumer level earbuds. Yeah.
But I want to get into your brand a little bit. So for those who don't know Arthur, think that Arthur and Medic is two people. And spoiler alert, it isn't. And I'm kind of curious, like, what was the foundation of your brand? How did you come up with this duo that isn't
a duo?
That isn't.
Much at the same time as I was looking for GarageBand for Windows. So I was, how old am I? I'm 25. So I was like 14 or 15. Then I just would hang out with this friend. We'd make up some dumb shit. We'd like play pretend at the park. I was a weird kid.
Pretend is not weird.
Pretending is not weird. No, that's a good point.
It depends what you're pretending specifically, though.
Specifically, I pretended that King Arthur was like from the future, and then he had Merlin was like a not quite a figment of his imagination. It was like part of him that split off, and they coexisted in two separate universes, and then it was collapsed back into one person. Explaining it sounds weird. I don't even remember all of it, but
No, that's super interesting. So Medic ended up being kind of a subset of this universe you created as you were a kid.
yeah, Medic was like this Merlin character.
Super cool. So one other thought I had as I was like inspecting your branding a little bit, and I realized that long before we were punching fascists in 2020, you had the Sky Pirate anti-fascist Sky Pirates. Yeah, there's the word. Anti-fascist Sky Pirate branding. I'm just kind of curious when you came up with that, or if something specific inspired you to make this like a public, like, you know, fuck fascists, like punch Nazis kind of vibe.
I don't know if there was like a moment where I was like, you know what, that needs to be like a part of everything. It seemed kind of like a natural progression.
Yeah.
Like, that would have probably been like 7 or 8 years ago. But yeah, I've been looking at the world we live in for a while. I've lived here.
Yeah. I'm familiar.
Yeah, the Sky Pirate thing is, well, so that's what the Arthur and Medic like story was. They were like a single person who lived in like this other universe.
Yeah.
That had all these sky ships. It was like a fantasy universe, and then there was like this crazy storm, which was caused by like 3 corners of 3 different universes overlapping and all that split apart. Which is where the Sky Pirate stuff comes from. But yeah, I don't know. I have always had a real problem with just, you know, evil people. Fascism
Easy.
Yeah. It seems weird that it's hard to say that, but like,
Yeah.
it needed to be part of everything.
Yeah. It's wild to me that in the like current cultural political climate in America that we have both sides claiming the other side is fascist at this point. Like,
Yeah.
super, you know, alt-right individuals are like, Antifa is fascist, and it's like, well, it's in the name. It's not, though. Like,
Kind of the anti part is very clear. We're against fascism.
Arthur, do you know how popular Spotify thinks you are?
No, I have not looked.
So, Arthur and Medic has a popularity of 21 right now.
I don't know what that means. Yay.
21 is out of 100.
Out of 100? Okay.
Out of 100. You aren't even allowed on the show with more than 49. So if you had 50 or more, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to think about you. No, it's obviously this is about highlighting lesser known producers, or at least ones that Spotify doesn't quite give due credit. The real bet here is that people and artists that we end up featuring on this show, I think, will see this number rise, not because of the show, but because they are inevitably going to be recognized for their talents. And now is the really fun part for me. Let me capture my device. Brilliant. We see the tattoo.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Next, I have to do. Oh, let's identify the tractors. Yay! I love doing captchas in the middle of my video. All right, Arthur, you're officially
I got a notification. You
$100 richer
from Nick Newhouse. Damn, all right.
I am happy to do it, and I'm happy. It's real. Yeah, the money's real. We weren't joking about that. What you're about to hear is what Arthur was able to make in a little under 3 hours, and I have a 20-minute edit of that session, which I'm going to link now and at the end of this video. But if you're really curious and want to get in the weeds, I'm going to put the full 3-hour session up on my Patreon, where you can see exactly what Arthur did from start to finish. I gave Arthur almost no creative direction the entire time. I just wanted to see how they work, and I think the results really speak for themselves. If you're still not following Arthur, hopefully I've changed your mind. You don't want to sleep on them. They make some really incredible music. And I'll leave a way for you to follow all of their socials below, and for you to, if you want to donate as well, please do so. I will leave a link to the next video, which will have all the details from the session. And as I mentioned before, you can check out the Patreon for the full 3 hours. If you're an artist that might be interested in coming on the show, or you know somebody who might be, please submit. I'll leave a way for you to do that in the description. And I'm especially looking for folks that aren't necessarily producers, more singer-songwriter, rock musicians, people that don't necessarily make electronic music. I'd really love to hear from you especially. Otherwise, I'm Nick Newhouse, and I hope to see you guys at the next one.